My very own artisan beer. And it's finished. Oh dear. Well, some people call it homebrew, but that's not here or there. But I want to talk about beer. And in particular, the small and medium enterprises that generally are the microbreweries that produce artisan beers. And I find quite sad, really, that many of these microbreweries, well, they're struggling. They're struggling to make ends meet, to balance the books, and having to shut the doors. Not all of them. Many of them just have to, scale down their businesses. Some of them are actually, they're sold out to larger brewers. And it's, I just find it all a little bit sad. Because he's a small to medium enterprise and has a small business myself, you put your blood, sweat and tears into something and money. And then it all kind of fails because of what somebody else has decided to do. So just put the cross in the wrong box. The Brexit. And scuppers their business. Puts not just their business at risk, but also the fact they're losing a huge amount of money, and then quite often they're losing their houses. Whatever else they've put down as the collateral. I find it quite sad, no? Some people say, well, what about the Trade Corporation Agreement? Yes, there was a TCA, a Trade Corporation Agreement. It was supposed to make everything easy. But it's not. It's not easy. It's not cheap. In fact, it's blooming expensive. Puts additional costs onto the product, and then the customer doesn't want to buy it. Well, Brexit has burdened UK beer industry big time. With all these new costs, huge amounts of paperwork. There's no getting away from it, really, isn't it? It's just an absolute nightmare. And the trade deal between the UK and the EU, well, there's much to be desired, to be honest, but also it leaves no part of the brewing supply chain untouched. It's not just exporting the stuff. How do you get the stuff into the country in the first place? We don't have the ingredients in the UK to the volume that we need. It's always the big buyers that manage to buy everything up. It's the big brewers. The small enterprises, they're suffering because of Brexit. Whether it be the malt, hops, all these suppliers, the breweries, distributors, have all reported that missing beer pallets as well. Beer pallets and kegs. See, all these are deposited items, you see. And you want to get your deposit back, don't you? Delayed shipments, cancelled orders, especially into the EU, since Brexit. And all this comes despite an increase in, well, crikey, shipment fees, transport costs. They're jumped by 400%. That's squeezing every little bit of profit out of these, their cash flow, I suppose, if they've got any profit. The problems all result from basically red tape, post-Brexit red tape. See, pre-Brexit, as part of the European Union single market, sending supplies and products to the continental Europe as a part of the free trade agreement, it was simple. Involving little more than booking transport and attaching a docket, a declaration for the shipment. Well, the new trade rules now require more detailed paperwork from importers and exporters, as well as logistics companies. And most notably, every single line item in every shipment must be detailed. Right down to the each bottle in a mixed case. Now, every variety of hop or malt as well, all has to be declared. It's just ridiculous. In the EU, they say, well, he ain't worth the candle. Well, this results all in extra time, and, well, time is money, isn't it? So, obviously, extra cost for every shipment that is made. And then you've got delays at the border. time is money. The longer something's stuck in the border, the longer you're going to have to wait to get paid. Now, although the UK voted to leave the European Union, oh my giddy aunt, they put the cross in the wrong box. Blimey, I'm just so frustrated about this. And hearing Keir Starmer and New Labour go on about a single market. Oh, we're not going to do this and we're not going to do that. Now, I know it'd be very difficult and it'll take a very long period of time to get anywhere near close alignment with the EU. They ain't going to roll over for us, no matter what they seem to think. They just ain't going to happen. No. So next my phone. It's probably a bit... who's that? I'll phone back in a minute. They pick the moments, don't they? Well, the fact is that it's not giving up, is it? Yes, I'm in France.
Hey, Marcus, it's me, Jess. I was just ringing because Caroline asked me to call you to make sure that you were okay because she couldn't get hold of you.
What?
And then to tell you that she's fine as well. Bye.
My dear wife is visiting the UK and she hasn't been able to call me. I don't understand why, but anyway, let's just. Well, that threw me. Well, there you go. I'm going to carry on, though. Intervention and all that. Yeah, have your ice cream. So, intermission. Well, where was I? The industry. The beer industry has seen this kind of perfect storm of scenarios that play out, haven't they? You obviously got the war in Ukraine, we've got the pandemic and that as well. All this has caused a massive amount of problems. But one key problem the UK has got, or the beer industry has got in the UK, especially small to medium enterprises such as the that's really threw me, such as the microbreweries, is Brexit. It's crippled them. They were caught in this perfect storm, and that was just the first blow. And that was I know it's Britain's decision to leave the European Union and all that. It's just nuts, though. I just find the whole thing painful. I really do. Now, founder of specialty beer importer, Euroboozer, they reckon that logistics went up by £400 and 20% per shipment. £400. Well, that has to be sucked up somewhere, doesn't it? Just put onto the costs. And this was overnight following Brexit. And that's, well, on top of that, there's another £2.50 in fees for each individual category of product that they bring over. So if you've got mixed palate, for instance, it could be another £100 on top of that per pallet. It's just nuts. Now, agreeing on a fee with logistics companies is one thing, but then you try and find a flipping driver. They can't. They're struggling to find drivers that bring the blooming stuff into the UK because they don't want to be sitting there. Now you've got cabotage and what have you as well, which basically, you know, where drivers are allowed to drop off 1+1. It's just, I just find the whole thing absolutely crazy. Now, it's all increased costs. The drivers have become more expensive because they're asking for more money. It's what's the perfect storm? It's an avalanche of additional costs, and it's not as simple as that. No. Oh, crikey! The video will get too long if I'm not careful, isn't it? You know. There you go. So, Camden Town and Greenkin, well, they're amalgamating. They ain't they all though. So, looming tsunami of job losses. Green King, Camden Town Brewery, St Austell Brewery, and Revolution Bars Group all announced seeing shake-ups. They're all, amalgamating. They'll all be integrating with each other. And then we've got Round Corner Brewing Company in Leicestershire. Said that post-Brexit price hikes have drastically increased transportation and export fees costs. And the co-founder, Combi Crayon, that's a funny name, said that he saw business with Europe dry up. So you haven't just got all these additional costs. In many cases, they can't operate. Ain't worth a candle. Now, the older world, in the sort of common market, it was a case that beer costing 20 quid, whether per to send over, is now costing 200 quid. So 20 times more. 10 times more, sorry. Oh, it's just painful. They're not the only ones. There's so many of them. All disappeared with Brexit. Craft beer boom ends as more than 100 UK firms go bust. This was back in August this year. That's the Bone Machine Brewing Company. They say here, it just got too much. Brexit. We are heavily geared for export, and we are selling to Finland, Sweden, Norway, Ireland, Netherlands, Italy, Spain, and we have Hungary in the pipeline, and it all disappeared with Brexit. This is from the horse's mouth. These are just a few examples I'm going to give you. I mean, it's just nuts. It's just nuts. It's fine. As a businessman, somebody whose business was damaged in the last recession, and I just sold up. I can feel for these people. I really can. Difficult. You put your heart and soul into something. The post-Brexit trading arrangements with the European Union countries meant that Bone Machines craft beers needed to be accompanied by expensive, time-consuming paperwork. Everyone was saying it was too complicated to import anything from the UK anymore. In terms of pure output, it was about 30 to 40% of what we made. In terms of income, it was probably more than half. And Bone Machine is one of the more than 100 small brewers that have been forced out of business in the past 18 months. It's not just them. No. Brexit has brought zero benefit to the UK businesses, says Brewdog Boss. I did a video about this before. Yeah, these are a few examples, but it's hitting lots of smaller ones as well. Ones that aren't making the news, they're just shutting the doors. Leaving the EU has massively handicapped UK companies that do business in Europe. James Watt told from Brewdog, it's a big firm, that Britain's departure from the European Union has brought about a significant negative impact on its own company's operations and massively handicapped UK companies that do business in Europe with zero benefit at all. In fact, they were saying it's cost them, they've made losses of 24 million because of Brexit red tape. And then we've got this one. This one's not quite so sad. And they actually, their business, they got hit quite quickly. They're into sad, this one. Why is that? Because they were touted as, by the UK government as Brexit heroes. So yes, Kent Brewery, hailed as the Brexit export champion, has one EU customer left. So the Old Dairy Brewery, named as in a government video, has seen sales slump because of excessive paperwork. This was back in 2022. This was last year. Dear me. So the brewery now has just one EU customer, a Berlin pub operator who travels to England by van to pick up the beer himself. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh, but they did it to themselves. They put the grass in the wrong box. They did, Now they had exports of around 600,000 and dropped to 2,000. So now they've just got the UK. Why did the people fall for it? Why did they fall for this madness? Just because some geezer was throwing flipping kippers out of a flipping boat in the Thames. His name was Nigel Fartage. Yes. Well, Virginia Hodge, who happened to be the export manager at the brewery, based in Tenterden, said Some transport companies won't even take the alcohol now because of the transit documents you need. I used to be able to make up a case of beer and send it by courier to the EU, and now I have to send it through full customs declaration. It's this flippin' woman. Oh, I'm sorry. But, these people are painful. Really painful. Oh, but don't worry, at least, nice, but, Tim but dim. Yeah. Weatherspoon's bottom, it's £10 pint possible. Yeah, we're not quite there yet, but it's coming. And it is. You see, we import everything. It's not just whether or not we can export it, we import everything. And the stuff, the hops, for instance, that we might be importing from the United States. Oh, God, that's another mind-numbing flipping issue. Oh, excuse me. Like, for instance, United Kingdom imports hops primarily from the United States, worth of $29 million. Well, do you know where to go? Let's go to the EU first. We have to import it from the EU. So on top of all this stuff, these brewers now have to go around the flipping gooseberry bush just to try and get the ingredients. We don't grow enough stuff in the UK to be able for these all these arts and brewers. We just don't. But also they have to get the stuff from further afield or from other places. A lot of it comes from Germany. A lot of the hops, what have you. A lot of the malts, what have you, coming from France. And now they've got to deal with other issues as well, whether it be labelling on the cans has all got changed now. Not destined for the EU. Not for the EU. It's all just a flipping mess. It's such a flipping mess. Just because somebody had some kind of, how to put it, what's the phrase? What's the word? Oh, just wanted their Brexit, I suppose. Nigel Farage just wanted his Brexit. And he managed to hoodwink everybody into it. But don't worry, there's a possibility that Nigel Farage could be the next leader of the Tory party. So I read today. Anyway, you tell me what you think. Please leave it in the comments down below. And please boop the old like button. Maybe subscribe to the channel, that little bell icon, because then you get a warm face feeling in your pocket every time I upload another video. This is getting from bad to flipping worse. It really is. Over 100 breweries are just so far. Well, more than that, actually, to be fair. Do you know any that have collapsed in the UK or not exporting anymore? Leave it in the comments down below. That's out. Because it's time for me to go, you know. I better phone my missus. Oh, yeah, I'm in the doghouse.